In this video, I'm going to talk about the 5 things I wish I knew before quitting my first job. 4 years ago, I was burnt out from my first job and I was on the brink of quitting it. It took me a while and I finally did it, but I did not have a solid plan awaiting my unemployment status. Or rather, I thought I had a solid ass plan, but that wasn't the case. For 2 long and tiring years, I wandered through unemployment, struggling with high levels of stress, anxiety, and feelings of uncertainty. I wish I had someone to consult or advise me on what I was supposed to do. So here I am making this video for the me from 4 years ago. So hopefully by the end of this video, you'll be able to take home one of these 5 lessons to better make your decision. So let's get into the video. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the exit blueprint. So it's important to know what you're going to do after you quit your job, because everybody is just thinking they just want to quickly quit their job and they just don't want to do anything after that. But it's going to be one of 2 things. So either you are going to pursue the path less commonly walked, which is entrepreneurship, that you want to do and start your own business and probably do your own thing in that sense, because you've had enough of listening to other people telling you what to do, having your work schedule around what people want to do. You want to do your own thing. Or secondly, which is you are going to prepare to get into another job. It's going to be one of these 2 things in that sense. So let's talk about the entrepreneurship part first. It's going to be way better for you to know what you are going to start, and you have logically, if you have already tasted it once before and you have tried it a little bit before you quit your job in that sense. So you're not magically going to know what you want to do once you quit your job, because everybody is just saying, oh, I wish I could just quit my job, I wish I could retire, and then I'll just find something that I want to do or something that I enjoy doing in that sense. It's not going to work that way. What's going to happen is, if you don't have a plan before quitting, you'll just be aimless and wander around and wasting a lot of time doing nothing in that sense. So don't put yourself in that position in that sense of having that aimlessness and not knowing what to do. You ideally want to know what you want to do before quitting your job in that sense. That's going to be, I think, for me, a really important point. The second one would be if you get into another job. So if you're not burnt out and you are ready to start another job in that sense, then it's always good to have interviews and approaching other companies for employment even before you quit your job, which means you're securing a job before you quit this job in that sense. So you have a bit of a safety net. But if you're burnt out, then of course chill out, give yourself a set amount of time to rest and relax, maybe recharge a little bit, probably around 6 to 8 weeks, about 2 months or so. Then you can kind of resume job hunting again once you get your head into the game in that sense. The second thing we're going to talk about is living the unemployed dream. So a lot of people think it would be amazing to not just work and just retire, kick back on the beach and just chill out the whole day with a tequila and stuff. But I got news for you. It actually sucks and you're likely to not enjoy it. Of course, this is just my opinion, but what I think is that most people say that they wish they don't have to work, or they just want to retire, not because they actually deep down want to just chill out on the beach and just do nothing, but more because they are deeply unhappy with their jobs and they just want to stop doing it. I thought I was burnt out from my first job and I wanted to just retire and do nothing in that sense, and I really had that thought. So I decided to have my own mini retirement. If anybody has read this book called the 4 Hours Work Week, they talk about having mini retirements along the way rather than one big retirement. So I decided to declare my own mini retirement. So for 2 months, I did nothing but eat, I exercised, I gymmed, I played games, I went out, I did whatever I wanted to do. You know how that turned out? They were one of the most boring times in my whole life, because I was just aimless, directionless, and it felt very empty because I was doing nothing, or rather doing absolutely nothing sucks. And it was a good break, but it was also a good realization that I no longer want what so many of my peers wanted, which is to retire, because I knew that it would suck. My purpose then became me trying to find something that I find enjoyable and worthwhile to do in my life in that sense. So I think you have to really have this mindset shift of finding something to retire into that you find enjoyable and purposeful, and you really enjoy yourself, rather than retiring from something, because then you have nothing to live with in that sense. So the difference is small, but very, very important in that sense. The third would be proof of concept. So if you're like me and you chose the entrepreneurship route, then congrats, because you are in a world of pain. You're going to be in so much pain that you've never felt before. I chose to do day trading and YouTube when I left my job. Both were one of the hardest things that I've ever done for my job. So it was super difficult to learn and excel at them, or trying to earn money with them. I think that's the most difficult part, because the more I couldn't earn money with them, the more stressed out I got. And the more stressed out I got, the harder it was for me to learn properly. So it was just ended up being a vicious cycle. So one of the things I would have done differently was to make sure that I have proof of concept. So what that means is that I would have went full on to start this side hustle during my non-working hours while I was still having the job, which means you have to work doubly as hard, which means morning 9 to 5 doing your day job. After that, when you get home, there's going to be very minimal leisure time. You're going to start out this side hustle for real. You're going to put in all your effort, make sure that there's some fruits of labor that comes up from it and it can prove somewhat profitable. If you can sort of supplement maybe 50% to 80% of your salary, then perhaps that's going to be a much better sort of safety net before you leave your job and then have to worry about the money and the finances after you leave your job. In that sense, it's going to be very stressful and you want to actually supplement your income before quitting in that sense. So example of me doing that right now is with YouTube. So some part of me deep down really just want to do YouTube for a living and I just want to quit my job and do all those kind of things, but I'm not going to make the same mistakes I did from before. What's going to happen right now is I'm working on my YouTube video. Like right now I'm working on it after work hours, but because YouTube isn't making me any money right now, I am still doing this as a side hustle until it really turns profitable. Then I can reconsider whether I want to do this full-time or part-time or whatever it is. I will have more decisions because I have more financial freedom in that sense. I'm definitely not saying that it's impossible to be successful at something just because it's not earning money, but for you right now, it just makes it that much harder. The fourth thing would be the Entrepreneurship Mountain. Continuing on this journey would be way harder than you thought than staying at your job. I can almost assure you that. Because the truth and the reality was that even if you sucked at your job and you were mediocre and everything like that, at the end of the month, you still got paid whatever it is that you would do, regardless of anything, unless you were really sales-based or whatever it is. But if you're a stable salary, you will still be paid at the end of the month. However, with your new journey, you'll be paid directly proportional to your services, or rather your competence, which means that you'll be paid almost nothing unless you're pretty lucky. Unlike your job where you have your mentors, your bosses to guide you and give you KPIs, you technically have no idea what you're doing. There's no guidance for this journey. There's no mentor for this journey. You don't know if you're doing the right thing or if you're headed for the right direction. You will just have to try and give your all for everything and try and error as much as you can and just see what sticks. You would then wish that you have the very same KPIs that your boss and your old company gave you, because at least you knew that if you followed those things were proven to produce some sort of results that your bosses will be okay with in that sense. So this mystery, this uneasiness and doubt of not knowing if it's going to succeed or not, it's something that you have to get used to, because you're going to have to plow through with your hardest work to ensure your highest chances of success while still having the mindset that it is going to work and trusting in that process. That's going to be a very difficult kind of journey, but it's going to be something that you need to have if you want to continue on the entrepreneurship journey in that sense. And lastly, the green dragon strikes again. So this is one of the most important things, which is green dragon referring to money and specifically monetary problems. So whether you are taking an extended break before starting your next job or starting out your entrepreneurship journey, you're going to have a temporary loss of income in that sense, more likely or not. In order to cope with that, the recommended online guru templates will have 3 to 6 months of emergency expenses. So that's totally fine if you're those of you who are just taking a short break from your work and then continue with the next job in that sense. You won't need a lot of money for that, because I'm assuming you're not going to blow up all your savings in that 1 or 2 months that you're taking a standard break for. However, for those pursuing entrepreneurship, it is very likely that you'll be in this journey for at least 2 years or more. You have to give yourself that much of a time in order to expand and really to grow and stuff like that. This is the time frame that you should be prepared to bite the bullet and just roll with it. But you not only need 2 years of living expenses, you are likely to go to need extra as well, because you need some money to start your business as well, because whether it be for course fees to be paid or maintenance fees for websites, hiring people, any other thing you need to kickstart your business or side hustle, you need money for that as well. So you have to set up at least 2 years of your living expenses plus whatever you think you need to start up your business, and then that will ensure that your chances of success will be the highest when you pursue this journey in that sense. Hopefully these 5 things that help you guys in your decision on quitting your job. Don't worry about the small things. These are just things to consider and things I wish I knew before I started my journey in that sense. If you enjoyed this video, then you'll probably enjoy this video right here on how I made my 5 income sources that make me more than $10,000 every single month. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next few videos. Bye bye!